Right everyone, what is going on? BusterBarnes here, bringing you my recap slash review of Chelsea's massive 1-0 win against Atletico Madrid in our first away leg of the Champions League. A massive win, a win that I didn't know was going to happen. I was a bit nervous, a little bit optimistic about this game. However, we did in fact pick up the W, and I will be getting into all the key moments, plus giving you guys my player ratings and player of the season point scoring system as well. So if you enjoy, leave a like, comment down below your thoughts on the game, and as always, subscribe for more Chelsea FC content. My preview for our following game against Manchester United will be out tomorrow as well, so do stay tuned for that. Some really big games still coming up after what can hopefully be a form-setting win against basically the best team in Spain at the moment. But getting into the little recap of the key moments, we did see the 3-4-3, or I should say maybe more of a 3-5-2. We did see the back of Edouard Mendy, Rudiger, Christensen, Azpilicueta, Alonso and Hudson-Odoi as wing-backs, Kovacic and Jorginho, or Jovicic as some people call them in the middle, Mason Mount there in that sort of midfield role too, with Werner and Giroud all up front. And to be honest, first 5 minutes of the game did not look too promising at all, to be honest. Mason Mount getting a yellow card in about the first 30 seconds, which we'll talk about that a little bit later. But also Atletico Madrid, we were making a few mistakes. Mendy making some poor touches as well. They were a little bit scary. We saw Alonso and Rudiger tackle each other at one point. So not the most promising signs at the start. However, we did get ourselves into the game and did pretty much take control of it for the majority of the match. Atletico maybe didn't get their tactics right, the players weren't up for it. I don't really know. I know they lost their game, I believe, just previous to this one. But yeah, definitely not maybe the Atletico side we were expecting, considering that they're top of La Liga at the moment. But not going to lie, first half, it was just a lot of possession from us. We did see ourselves break through, but it was sort of the same old story where when we get into that final third around the penalty box, the decisions just aren't quite right. We had some crosses that were blocked, some shots that just, weren't really on target. We did see Werner smash the ball at Oblak at one point, but he made a pretty easy save. And that's basically what it was. We were doing all great work leading up to the penalty area, but when we get to that, we just seem to not really know what is going on. Some decent hold-up play from Giroud. Mount went on this really nice run at one point. I believe that was in the second half where he did two Atletico players. But it was getting to that point where if we drew this game and you told me that at the start we'd draw, you'd be like, oh, okay, that's an okay result. But considering how we were playing, I think it would have been quite disappointing if we did not pick up the win or at least score one goal. And that goal did eventually come in the second half, where the ball was crossed in. Mason Mount contests with Hermoso for the ball. It goes up in the air, and Olivier Giroud, the human highlight reel of a man, bicycle kicks the ball into the bottom left corner. Oblak, one of the best goalkeepers in the game, had no chance. And for a while we all thought it was offside. VAR was checking it for ages. Don't know why it quite took them so long, but it did show the ball actually came off Hermoso, so it didn't matter that Giroud was offside and the bicycle kick stood. And I mean, what a goal for Giroud. He's not always playing every single game, but he can pop up with those moments. I mean, this is actually the starting 11 that I predicted. I predicted it all correctly for this game. And just with Giroud's history of him scoring in European competitions, I think this is the competition where you do start him, and I mean, he's shown you why. One of his better performances, actually, probably his best under Tuchel so far, I'd probably say, in terms of his all-round play. And yeah, just great from him. And I tell you what, the defence was really good in this game. Like other games, the defence hasn't had too much to do. And I wouldn't say they were tested loads. However, when the ball did come to them, Christensen, one of his better performances. Azpilicueta was just an absolute workhorse. Tackles, winning aerials as well. Rudiger did well. I mean, Mendy, like I said, he was a bit sketchy, but he didn't have anything to do the entire game in regards to saves, and he has to help, help the defence from that. Special praise, to be fair, to Alonso a bit, because in that sort of first half when nothing was happening, he was, putting in some pretty decent crosses, which we don't normally associate with someone like Alonso. I mean, really his only two standout things are he's tall and can pop up with a goal, but I thought today we saw a little bit of a better performance from him in general. But yeah, it's just that final third creativity. Jorginho and Kovacic weren't quite on it today, and neither were, I guess Werner, not having their best time. But, we were still in control, and we definitely deserved to win the game. But yeah, that's basically how it ended, guys. 1-0 with that Giroud bicycle kick. Mason Mount and Jorginho, however, both picking up yellow cards, meaning that they will not be able to play in the second leg, which is a little bit worrying, to be honest. Just before I talk about that, I want to say we got substitute appearances from N'Golo Kante, Hakim Ziyech, Reece James, Pulisic and Kai Havertz as well. Nice to see Havertz back from his little injury as well. Same with Pulisic, Kante. It's crazy how good our bench was. Imagine in the game bringing on Kante, Ziyech, James, Pulisic and Havertz. That is absolutely insane, and our squad does look very good. But it's another clean sheet away. No Thiago Silva, just shows how good this system is, and how much some of the players have stepped up. But yeah, slightly worried for the second leg, just because, let's be honest, guys, Mount has been our best player for a while now, at least consistently, and he pretty much starts the press. He works hard. He's going to be one of those players where if a team is missing a certain player, they just don't perform as well. Like Liverpool without Van Dijk, or United without Fernandes, or like how Man City used to be without Company. Hopefully, it's not going to be the same with Mason Mount, but you're just worried that maybe the sort of energy and the leader of the press will be sort of gone. Jorginho as well, a very important player. Who'd have thought that we'd be saying in 2021, Jorginho, a very important player that you can't really afford to miss. I mean, Kante, don't get me wrong, he's obviously world class, and if you're going to ask me who out of the three midfielders of him, of Jorginho, Kante and Kovacic I would take, I definitely would put Jorginho at the bottom individually. However, I think with the system, it always has to be him and someone else in the midfield, because he communicates, he's our vice captain. Kante, Kovacic don't really communicate. They're both also quite similar, like to sort of free roam, and we did see in that goal against Southampton that we conceded that they were a little bit out of position as well, even though it wasn't mainly their fault. Kovacic was caught a little bit out of position there in the midfield. So Jorginho and Mount are both going to be big misses, but hopefully the system can be set up well enough where we can still maintain our lead and progress to the quarterfinals, which I think will be the first time we've done that since, was it 2014 or was it actually 2012? I can't remember, but it has been a while, and yeah, hopefully that duct will be broken. But yeah, I mean, a great performance, guys. Obviously, like always, would have preferred maybe another goal to seal it or something like that, because like I say, we are still having those issues in the final third, which still does fill me with a little bit of I guess nervousness going into some of our future big games against United, Liverpool. But you can't complain with a win away to Atletico Madrid, and what a goal for it to be the decider in this game. So that's going to be my little recap of the key moments, guys. Let me know what you thought of the game in general down below in the comments section. If I'm going to get into my player rating, starting with Edouard Mendy, as you know, 6. That's sort of the base rating for an average sort of performance. Usually with clean sheets I'll give the defenders like a 7, but I'm actually going to give Edouard Mendy a 6.5, basically because he didn't have anything to do, and when he did get the ball, he looked a little bit dodgy, probably one of the more dodgier times we've seen him. A lot of his touches were very heavy, he had to clear the ball away, just out for throws. A very sketchy time at the back for him. However, hopefully he's got that out of the way, and he got a clean sheet still, so if there was any game for him to do that, it was this game. Just hopefully it doesn't become a consistent thing, but a 6.5 because he kept the clean sheet, but it still maybe wasn't the most convincing day out for him. Rudiger and Christensen both going to get 7.5s. Probably the best performances I've seen from both these two were in this game. Very professional. Christensen definitely suits that middle centre-back role in the back three than he does pretty much any other role in the defence, I think, because he doesn't have to mark anyone. He's not really asked to be super physical. He can just sort of use his mind and read the game, which we know he's decent at, so I think he's sort of thriving fairly well in that role, although I do think Thiago Silva will obviously come in eventually. Rudiger I thought did decently as well, but bar that little mishap with Alonso where Suarez did get in on goal, which meant that Callum Hudson-Odoi actually had to save us from conceding a goal. I think it was from maybe Lamar, something like that. So besides that Rudiger and Alonso mishap, I do think they still played well enough. Alonso's actually going to get 7.5 as well, and to be fair, I was actually quite impressed with his crossing, which, like I said, is a rarity, and his defensive work was decent as well. I think he was definitely told not to get up the pitch more, although one thing that I did notice, which I don't know if you guys did, was that I do feel like there was points where maybe some of the players were looking up and seeing Alonso and not passing to him because they knew that he didn't really have the ability to hit the ball or to run with the ball, so that does maybe limit us a a little bit of Alonso on the left is that his pace maybe isn't great. He can't really run past players. We did see a bit of his lack of pace as well. But I think for this fixture, when Atletico was sitting deep, it was fine having Alonso. I think against Southampton, teams that are pacier and that more want to press you, I think that's when maybe we need to see someone like a Chilwell. But Alonso did well today, impressed me. Hudson-Odoi as well, he's going to get a 7.52. A very decent performance from him. Obviously controversy, him being brought on against Southampton and taken off. A very nice professional performance from him, putting in, showing the maturity I guess he's got as a player. He got forward, he defended, like I said, pretty much prevented us conceding a goal from an Alonso and Rudiger mistake. And he just put in a shift and just showed Tuchel how, maybe that performance against Southampton was a blip and he's not going to do that again, even though I personally thought he was fine against Southampton, but that's in the past now. We'll just leave that at where it is. But the final man of the defence, Azpilicueta, going to get a 8.5, I should say. 3.5, he was brilliant. 8.5 out of 10. I think he won like 6 aerials, made the most tackles, got forward, was really just a true leader in this game. I don't think he was the best against Southampton. He definitely stepped up his game against Atletico Madrid and was just a true warrior in this defence and definitely stuck out to me in terms of his performance. So an 8.5 from him. Just the stats-wise really sticking out. Going to the midfield, Kovacic and Jorginho both going to get a 6.5 actually, so a bit higher than the base rating. Obviously the important thing, we didn't concede the goal, we won the game, so you've got to commend them for that. However, I will say they were both a little bit frustrating this game. I do think they work well together with their communication. They did keep the ball and pass it around. However, their sort of passes forward, Jorginho, I think, messed up about 4 or 5 different through balls. Kovacic didn't look as creative as he has done in a couple other games. So a little bit frustrated with them in this game. However, like I said, we won. It was still decent. They weren't that bad. Defended well, so 6.5 out of 10 from them. But hopefully they don't fall back into their little rut of, not being as progressive. Hopefully they stepped that up and this was just a little bit of a blip. Going into the front three though, going to give Timo Werner a 6.5. Had the most shots with 3 I believe, but none of them looked that clear cut and wasn't the best performance from him. I think he made some decent runs. He obviously still needs to gain that chemistry where players will find him going in behind, but against the team sitting deep like Atletico, it was always going to be tough for him. I think the jury's still out on Timo Werner, but it was still not a bad performance. It was fine. 6.5 out of 10 for him. Mason Mount going to get a 7 out of 10. I actually saw him get second in the man of the match poll for Chelsea. Don't know if that's just because he's an attacker and when you score at least one goal, the attackers are always going to get a bit more credit. I thought he was fine. I think the maybe yellow card was a bit frustrating, which probably wasn't even the yellow card, so maybe not his fault. He did a really nice run, like I said, beating 2 players. But yeah, I didn't really notice him loads. I still think he led the press well. Maybe 7's harsh, but it's still a good ranking. You're still above the average. Maybe just didn't stick out to me as much as he did other games. But I still think he's going to be a massive miss going into the second leg. And hopefully it won't be too much of a hit for us, although, the jury is out on that one. Lastly but not leastly, the goal scorer, the match winner, Olivier Giroud, going to get an 8 out of 10. Like I said, probably overall his best performance. I've given him lower ratings when he scored before because I didn't think he held up that well, but I do think in this game he was perfect because Atletico were going to sit deep. You didn't need Giroud to run in behind. He was just going to pick up the ball, offload it, hold it up well, and that's what he did. Competed physically with the defenders, scored that amazing goal. 8 out of 10 for him as well. If he got another assist or scored, or I would probably put it higher, but obviously it was just the one goal. But yeah, just class from Olivier Giroud, and I'm sure we'll definitely be seeing him in more Champions League games. But yeah, going to the bench, everyone's going to get a 6 from Kante, Ziyech, James, Pulisic and Havertz. Ziyech was maybe one of his better performances lately coming off the bench, did a really nice through ball. The others just pretty standard. So yeah, those are going to be my ratings, guys. Let me know yours in the comments below. Player of the season point scoring system. As you know, I only like to designate one of the 3 points to only one player. However, it was such a great defensive display. I'm actually going to be giving 1 point to each of Alonso, Rudiger, Christensen and Hudson-Odoi. They all did their shift. They all defended well. Callum and Alonso putting in decent balls into the box. Hudson-Odoi, saving us from conceding a goal. Some of the better performances from these defenders that I've seen. So I think 1 point for them is going to be fair enough. And I think that means there's going to be a few new faces when I do show you guys the tally after I announce the other two people getting points. I'm going to give 2 to Olivier Giroud. Got the match winner, got the goal. Would have got the 3 if there wasn't someone that stuck out a little bit more to me. And that man was Cesar Azpilicueta. 1-0, guys. You can't ignore the defensive shift. Didn't concede a goal. Or, as I say, didn't concede the shot on target, which just shows Azpi's stats are immense. A real warrior, really leading this team well. And, without Thiago Silva, we need to rely on him even more. And that's what we did. So brilliant from him. He's going to get the 3 points. You can see how these scores are tallying up. The table expanding, changing a little bit. Obviously, still quite a few games to go. But, guys, obviously, still, this, a hard game. We've still got plenty more to go. Manchester United, then Liverpool, then Everton, then Leeds. Leeds away, I believe. 4 massive games, need results in them. This is going to be a massive test. Obviously, Tottenham and Atletico, we've passed those tests. But, Manchester United, this is a massive game to close points on them. Liverpool to, expand our lead on them. These are going to be huge, guys. And I don't think Manchester United have actually lost an away game, at least in the Premier League yet this season, which is crazy. So a little bit nervous. Obviously, I'll be getting into the team news for that game as well, which makes me slightly more nervous when I go into that for the preview tomorrow, guys. So do stay tuned for that. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, leave a like, comment your thoughts down below, and subscribe for more Chelsea FC content. Hope you all do have a nice weekend, and I'll see you next time.